What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Masterpiece MP-46 Black Widow, Blackarachnia. It's Masterpiece Blackarachnia. So I'm going to forego all the pleasantries such as box and paperwork and all that other stuff. I mean, if you want to and you fancy yourself a Google, by all means, take a look at all that stuff that way, just to kind of cut down some of your precious time here. So as you can see, she comes with everything shown here, plus two faces and some other accessories, which, you know, that I will definitely show off, but that's more or less robot mode stuff. As far as spider mode, this is all you really need to know. So she comes with a, like, I guess a smaller version of the Dinobot stand. Or maybe this is half of one, but it comes with these little holes drilled in these various spots. So, like, I mean, it'd be so much cooler if they just sold these stands as is. But you can see there's a little arm. Now, down here, where my finger is, there's like a very tough teeth-grinding ratchet. And then up here you see you've got the point, which could fit, you know, other Masterpiece stand pieces, such as like for Megatron or Dinobot even. And then you have this clear blue piece that matches the webbing, and that's kind of a piece y'all got to put together. But like for the most part, this is how she'll kind of be on this stand in spider mode. I'm not going to show that off in robot mode. I think it's a little silly. I feel like she more or less kind of did this in you know, beast mode specifically. So with that said, let's go ahead and take her off here, and that might happen, but if it does, you just kind of come back under here and line it up, press them back down, and then again set her off to the side. So this is that clear blue piece I was talking about, and the web will come off of it, maybe, perhaps. You can see there's these two little clip pieces it's held onto right there, and then there's this other little clip piece that's kind of independent. Looks like it's got a little, I don't know if this can tab on, or plug in rather, right there. No, it doesn't really do any of that. So there's that if you want it to, but that's basically, this is the clip that you'll utilize for that. I think you basically would just flip this whole assembly around on the other side for robot mode. So it's neat that you have like a lot of the options there for the spider here, and the web is in, you know, 4 different pieces, and you just kind of clip them all together and kind of see they just sort of sandwich on top of each other. But I like this. I like this a lot. I was pleasantly surprised by just how light this figure is, and you know, small too. Like, and it's not small in a bad way, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's scale accurate to the show, which is what I personally care the most about, and it looks great. So let's go ahead and kind of get her down here. Let's get these legs situated. Now, these little spider legs that you can't quite see are on little bitty ball joints. So they do pop off a little easy, these little ball joints in here. They're not super loose, but they're not a comfortable tight fit either. But, you know, realistically, they're not really going to support her. You don't really need them to support her. So, you know, there's that. Now, let's get to the, I guess, the elephant in the room here. It's going to be all this back butt back here. Now, the back looks nice. Like, it cleans up and it all comes together and compresses nicely. Something that I really wish they would have maybe done was basically if they could have somehow engineered it to where this piece, these black pieces, you know, see this, even this black panel that folds out and kind of covers what will be the robot mode calf. If that was in the front here, and like they kind of tried to hide it with the, you know, like the undersides of the feet. There we go. Just move that up. You know, but I mean, some of this other stuff is kind of poking through, and to be perfectly honest, I probably don't have this transformed back all the way correctly. This is not the, I've only got the one out so far. Maybe it would be beneficial to me if I got the other one out, and, you know, kind of compared them that way, but more or less, I'm pretty sure this is just how it's supposed to be. Either way, like it's getting her into robot mode is the easy part. Getting her into back into spider mode was kind of tricky because like I didn't look at any of the instructions, I didn't pay attention to where any of the orientation was on pieces that I was moving. But you know, you're gonna get a little bit of that kind of bronze and gold sort of peeking through in that spider mode. Ultimately, I'm okay with it, considering I do have one to display both, you know, one for robot mode, one for spider mode. And if you want to, you can kind of wiggle these pieces out, these little spider leg pieces, if you wanted to try to get some different stances out of the spider. You can do that. I believe they'll actually hold her weight. They're all kind of peculiar as to like how you need to position stuff. I'll just get that out of the way. How you need to position some stuff, and I'm probably not going to do it too incredibly well, but I got her to sort of stand for me earlier. There we go. Now whether or not she'll hold that pose, who knows, but if you get those little legs positioned just right, you really don't need the stand or need to kind of use them, you know, kind of how as they were. Like this is more or less how they were. They're on these little swivels in here. Gets them nice and close up to the body. So there's that. Again, this is my biggest probably issue in this mode, is how easily her little spider gun, not spider gun, but the gun for her robot mode just sort of pops off super easily just from the way it's just sort of pegged in down there. But other than that, I mean, it's nothing I can, like, within reason complain about, I don't guess. I mean, it's just as easy, just, you know, like, take it off, right? So there's that. But yeah, real quick, let's get a couple of comparisons in here. So here she is next to the Takara original and the Kenner original. If I can get it to stay together. And there's those. As you can see, I did a bang-up job transforming all of them. And I can maybe fit them in here. There's the Telemoka, which, if you would have asked me, I'd have argued till I was blue in the face that that is the best of the Blackarachnias that we ever got up until this point. And then there's the Takara Legends LGEX Blackarachnia, the remold of the animated Blackarachnia. And just because I kind of got her, like the only one I didn't grab, I guess, was the Transmetal 2. But here is the Beast Machine's Blackarachnia. So there we go, even though you can't see her. Let's just put her back there. Okay, there we go. So all but one of my she-spiders. So looking pretty good. And obviously I don't have the Universe or the Crystal Widow or anything like that. So, you know, I think you kind of get the point here as to how she looks with other iterations of herself. So let's go ahead and get her into robot mode. I'm not going to do a transformation video on getting her to robot mode. It's pretty straightforward if you just start pulling some stuff out. The only thing I will, I guess, kind of go ahead and share here is kind of, this is supposed to be tabbed into this little hole back here. Mine really doesn't. But anyways, you kind of like untab that ever so slightly, and then you can kind of pull down on it. Just get that out of the way. Whenever you start doing stuff, do that to get it out of the way, and you should be fine. Again, I don't know why it didn't want to stay. I mean, it doesn't really lock or hold anything in, but you do that, and then fold that up whenever you start to kind of get all the pieces apart. That's more or less how you want to attack the transformation. Other than that, I mean, it's just, if you start doing it, you'll kind of figure it out. I'm sure there's other transformation guides out there that are probably going to work, but for me, it was just easy enough to unfold all that. But I guess real quick before we do get into all that, focus on some of these details They even looks like they painted, maybe it's sculpted, maybe it's paint, I don't know, but like the individual like little pupils there in the eyes, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And of course, the kind of like texture to mimic the show, it's wonderful. The beast modes never come out 100% on these masterpieces, and at this point, Beast Wars fans were all more or less used to it and accepting of it. It doesn't bother me. All this kind of random bronze and brown and gold just sort of peeking through. Like I really couldn't care less about it, I should say. Just because, she looks good. She looked great up there on that stand. So that's more or less where I'm at with it. So, anyways, let's get into robot mode. We'll look at some of the accessories, and then we'll wrap this review up. All right, so here we have Blackarachnia in her robot mode. Real quick, I want to kind of just get to the complaints that I have for robot mode. So this is the weapon piece, right? And it's incredibly genius. Like I love how the weapon integrated into spider mode. As far as like the alt mode and things like that. Something I do want to focus on here is the way this piece kind of goes in. I probably got to get her out of the background, truth be told. It's amateur hour over here. Anyways, you see this, that kind of gray silverish paint's already starting to rub off, just because you have to slide it in here like that. You can put it all the way down. You can kind of have it coming out a little bit, I guess. But one way or another, it's just gonna rub. Like there's nothing you can really do about it. So be mindful of that. But yeah, so there's that. Now she also has a different handle system because she doesn't have like traditional hands. There's a peg on either side of that, right? So what you do, and in this, like, it's no longer, like, this isn't a gripe by any means, but you just kind of find the corresponding hole, give it a little plug, and then wrap her claws up, her mandibles, I guess, I don't know, accordingly. And then she holds the weapon, and she holds it very securely, very snug. It's awesome. It's all good stuff. Now, the issues that I have is something that I have been praising the Masterpiece Beast Wars line for doing, and what I've been praising them for doing, has been integrating weapon storage. No matter how silly it is, it seems like they always kind of went out of their way to make sure that there was weapon storage in robot mode. Blackarachnia is the current, and hopefully going forward, only exception to that. Like, I'm probably the only one that cares about that weapon storage, and maybe there just weren't a whole lot of people that were really kind of being mindful of that, like that maybe they just didn't care. But there's nowhere to like plug this on, on the back or anything like that. Not particularly a fan of that. However, if you want to, you just kind of come back here and I guess untransform the backpack a little bit and get enough sort of clearance in there. You can more or less just slide this little piece through. You don't want it to like rub or anything, right? Just kind of slide it through like that and then just sort of sandwich it back up. Sandwich this piece back up. It's not going to clip in or hold securely or anything like that. So it's not really great proper storage. However, it does more or less get out of the way. And that's something that I can get behind. So while this isn't proper weapon storage, it can happen. You got to fan mode it around a little bit, but overall, I'm not, I'm not, it's one of those things. Like Cheetor had a spot, Dinobot had a spot, and in Dinobot's case, his weapon storage was horrendous, but he still had it, Megatron didn't really need weapon storage, and neither did Primal, but, Primal even had it for the swords, so. But there's that. And of course, the figure cleans up nicely. I mean, she is, 10,000% awesome in robot mode, This, I think, is what anybody would have been buying Blackarachnia for. Again, I got my kind of usual amount of Blackarachnias, or of, I guess, this release in particular that I would normally get. So I'll have one for spider mode, one for robot mode. So there's that. But she does look good. So now let's get on to paint. And this is something that kind of surprised me. Again, I believe this is that sort of digital paint. But, I mean, like, this is crazy. Just how close, and accuracy it is to the TV show, and just how they were able to get that kind of gradient effect on there. Also, what's really cool is these little pieces back here are spring-loaded. So, no waffles for all you waffle haters. So, there's that. The feet are painted purple, and surprisingly, they even have, like, little ankle rockers in there. Like, just, like, she weighs about as much as a Siege Deluxe, but has, like, all this masterpiece level articulation and paint and engine. It's just incredible. So anyways, as you can see, the gold here for the eyes on her crotch, and then the, kind of brown spider leg pattern on the boobies, and then just little accents of green up throughout there, and then, like, some purple on the backs, and you get the green there, the stripes, blah, 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 everything kind of par for the course there. I like the little bitty hourglass that you can kind of see at the top of her head crest. This is the stock head that comes on her, by the way. We're about to get the other heads out. We'll take a look at those, but, and then the Predacon logo right there at the collar. Everything's clean. Everything's done, like, nicely, I feel. Real quick, the only other kind of Blackarachnia head to compare it to is that one, which, for its time, like, they did a solid job on the Legends line. I mean, that's pretty much as Blackarachnia as it got as far as head sculpts go. So there's that. Let's see. Let's get on to accessories. Like, you can do whatever you want to with these. Like, if you want to, I guess, rotate them around like this, you can rotate them around like that to have them do the kind of firing spider leg machine gun thing, if you wanted to. Or if you had, if you just wanted to spin them around on these ball joints, you could spin them around on these ball joints. Again, these aren't the tightest ball joints. They don't really allow for a whole lot of super awesome movement. What's really neat is that these spider legs are actually kind of like soft ratcheted. So that's something that I do like. I don't know how paint heavy all this is. I mean, it looks like they're entirely painted, and that may be why the ball joints themselves aren't super tight, as to not have too much paint rub, but there is that. Something else that's kind of interesting is, like, these little shoulder pieces will rotate. So, I mean, if you want to, I mean, like, they really don't need to, but if you wanted them to, they can. And then articulation that she didn't really even use in beast mode is you can kind of get the shoulders up like that, just for some expressive poses, which for Beast Wars I think is very important, because the character models were all very expressive, especially compared to other iterations of Transformers. Not saying that other iterations weren't expressive, and also what's really neat is this kind of waist rock right here. Like, you get it side to side, you don't really get too much forward and back, but you can get the kind of sassier poses with that side to side movement, which I think is pretty neat. So now we'll get into accessories, like, for real. Alright, so first up, let's get into the faces. Let's kind of move her off to the side. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So there is face number 1. I don't really know what's too terribly different about these two faces. I mean, they seem similar enough, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me to really, like, tell. Oh, the eyes are kind of a little more open. Like, okay, so with this one, she's kind of like, being a little smarty pants, being a little snide, but these just seem to kind of be the more wider relaxed eyes. And then this is where tarantulas kind of possessed her, or she was transmitting codes to the Ark. And then finally, we get this little doodad here, which I still haven't taken out of the bag yet, so let's bear with for a moment. So let's see. Let's get all this out of here ever so carefully. All right, so there's that. And this is getting hung up on everything. Par for the course. Like, why put little plastic holes in these bags, man? Come on. Like, you knew that stuff was going to get caught on it. So anyways, here's the little mask, the visor thing, and it comes with a little plug. So you would slip that, I guess it goes, yep, there we go. Well, maybe not. Oh, yep. Okay, there we go. So, over these little kind of back pieces right here, and if you are so inclined, wait for it. There's a hole back here. No, it's a little too loose. No pun intended. And it doesn't really plug into there, but what's interestingly enough is that it's got like a little plug piece. I don't know if you're like at all kind of sort of music savvy, you'll know it looks like the same kind of plugs that go from like the music instruments to the amps. Like that's very much what those plugs look like on the end, which is interesting. So I mean, you have that as an option. I thought it was cool for one of those like this one time on that one episode sort of situation. I like that as a little accessory. It comes with a second plug, I guess, if you lose this one. I don't think there's a place to really plug this other one in. Yeah, this one comes out. Couldn't see any of that. This one comes out. But anyways, this one came with two, so you have that. Also, you get this. I'm not using this. I'm not even going to unravel or unwind this. You could, well, I say I'm not going to do stuff, then I do stuff. So what good is my word anyways? So like as far as this, like I don't know if this, piece comes out back here somewhere or something. Like I don't know. Like I know it can plug into her, but like for the sake of it plugging into this gun, like I really don't know. I mean, like I know what it's supposed to represent, right? We get the blue string here that's supposed to, represent the blue webbing, and she, was very Jessica Drew sometimes, and the is that who I'm? Anyway, she was doing Spider-Woman stuff a lot in the show, so you have that as an option. It's late. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of winging it at this point. But anyways, if you wanted to, other than maybe plugging that in, is that it will actually, I think it would actually drop the gun. Anyways, as I was saying, I think it's supposed to peg in on like this little piece right here, mayhaps? Yeah. So any of the little ports that are the same size as this one, which I think is the same as like the one on the back of her butt and on like the underside of her butt. So it's more or less to kind of have her hanging from something. And it seemed like a tight fit. And again, she's not a very heavy figure. So I feel like that string would hold her no problems. I'm not going to risk it. If somebody else wants to risk it, they can risk it. I'm not going to risk it. As far as how easy is it to get this face off? Let's see. Okay. Definitely don't like scratching paint, so... Oh, there we go. Alright, that came off easy enough. It wasn't like Dinobot difficult. Or, well, I don't think Dinobots was really difficult. It wasn't smooth, but we'll get the kind of regular non-sarcastic face on her, just cause. So yeah, figure looks amazing. It is Blackarachnia to a T. It is show accurate. It is highly articulate. It's very lightweight, but it doesn't feel like it's cheap or like anything's gonna break. Like, it feels durable. Earlier, one of these arms popped out on like the mushroom peg, so the plastic has a little bit of give into it. But it's like everything on this thing is painted, except for like some of the black plastic pieces, because of course. But like the sculpt is amazing too. Just how they got these rigid sculpted details. Like, I mean, it feels like they just cut and paste this from the show. Also, I don't know if I showed this off, but like again, I don't know why these are spring loaded, but it's cool. They covered up any potential waffles. Like this is something I feel like if they stripped all the paint off of it and just went like bare bones, like maybe they could release this main line. You know what I mean? That said, I think mine came out to a little over $100 shipped a piece, like 107, 109, something like that. Is it worth it? And I honestly don't know if I would consider this a $100 toy, where Cheetor was only 70 or 80. I mean, would I buy it again? Absolutely. Like, if gun to my head, give me $100 for this, most certainly take $300 while you're at it. I think it depends on what you're looking for in a masterpiece figure. Again, like, she's painted head to toe. She is super show accurate. The spider mode does suffer a little bit, but we're already 6 figures into the Masterpiece Beast Wars game now, and if you're not already familiar that beast modes are going to suffer a little bit, I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe Masterpiece Beast Wars ain't for you. However, I think that it's all super reasonable. I don't see us getting a better Blackarachnia at any point in the future that fits to this scale. Like, she's scale and show accurate. And like, look at this. This is the Beast Machine's Blackarachnia in robot mode. The Beast Machine's Blackarachnia is like a little bit taller than her, but like 1,000 times, well, probably not 1,000 times more simple, but definitely more simple. It's an incredible piece. It's an absolutely incredible piece. While we're at it, there's the Telemoka. Let's see. Let's not get the Telemoka like mucking her up, getting in her shot and all that. There's the Takara original. Here's the Kenner original. And here's the Legends LGEX. And let's just go ahead and get her back in here. Why not? So, Shelf of Spiders. But yeah, needless to say, like, I'm pretty stoked on this thing. I know I've kind of talked about it and gushed over it more than anything else. But yeah, I mean, it's great. Is it Masterpiece Megatron, MP-43 Megatron great? No, I don't think so. Is it maybe on par with Dinobot? Yeah, I think so. And like Dinobot, I mean, it's my favorite one, so I'm going to be a little biased towards it, but I like, that's kind of, as far as the gives and the takes, I think we're looking at, Masterpiece Dinobot levels, and that's one of my favorite toys. But she's excellent. If you can pick her up, definitely pick her up. It's just a fun figure to play with, I think. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.